saying what do I have that substantiates what?
So what?
Outside Islam, this is your question.
Yeah, so listen.
Yeah. Let me clarify. So you're saying from an outside perspective of Islam, what do we have that substantiates our religion?
Exactly. What outside?
And outside of Christianity, what do you have that substantiates Christianity? Because Jesus came for the Jews. He said for the rest of Israel. He didn't come for the Gentiles, right? So you're done.
No, you're wrong.
You're
wrong because even when John the Baptist saw Jesus, and remember, our faith came 600 years before yours.
And do you know the disciples are Jewish?
So
they're all Jewish, right?
Remember, we're your parents.
They're all Jewish.
So what we know, is that John the Baptist, the cousin of Jesus, he said, "Behold, the Lamb of God that takes away the sins of the world."
In the name of Jesus, if you're not Jewish.
Because he said so.
He came for the Jews.
He's the Messiah, the promised Messiah.
Yes,
For the world, for the salvation of the
He's the
world.
Messiah. He's coming down. He's coming down in Damascus.
Okay, on what basis?
To slay the swine and break the cross.
Okay, give
Because
any.
the cross is evil.
This is the thing, Joe the Muslim.
We're not going to have question for question, clearly.
Okay,
So
don't worry. You have your chance.
Let's just have a heated debate.
No, I want to understand.
Can you keep up with the heated debate?
I want to understand. I want to understand what evidence you have outside of the Quran that substantiates the claims about Isa in the Quran.
What outside for the Jews? When they see Mary has come home with a child without a father, what do they think? What do they think? It's a bastard.
Are you answering the question?
With a question.
See, you're not a Muslim. You don't have the knowledge.
So listen, you know that you can answer a question with a question.
That's not an answer.
That is an answer.
Show your depth.
Right.
Show what knowledge you have. What knowledge do you have?
This is what Bob the Builder says.
If you ask a question,
what's your name?
if you ask a question, you're trying to inquire. So I'm asking you. I'm asking you because I heard what you said about the Jewish people.
Yeah, because she's going around
so you magnetized me when you were insulting the Jewish people. So what I'm trying to understand.
No, we're not. I said question for question. He didn't want to.
Okay, so I'm happy to pause. I'm happy to pause. Ask your question.
Have a heated debate, bro.
Ask your question. Ask your question.
I was originally going to ask about. She was talking about the blood of Jesus, the blood of a white man, blood of a Jew. That's what I don't know what she's saying about that. That's all I'm saying. I said over her the blood of a Jew, the blood of a white man. This is she's promoting. She's promoting Jewish supremacy.
So firstly, yes, we believe that Jesus was Jewish. But we don't believe he was white, pale white.
Doesn't matter about
the Jewish people of those days, they would have been olive skinned. That's historical fact. So when you say white, like you're kind of giving connotations to, in my opinion, what I describe as racist comments. When you say white, because firstly, you're not being careful with how you're speaking.
They put images of him and said black is white because they promote a white supremacy.
Yeah, but what are you saying? You haven't inquired, you haven't explored.
Like the popular image that I see of Jesus.
Yeah, but he's Jewish. He's Jewish in the first century. Okay, so this is clearly somebody.
So why don't you just leave this religion?
This is clearly somebody that was olive skinned. But what's your next question?
Why don't you leave this religion that's whitewashing you?
In what way?
Why don't you just leave the white man's religion?
So you're saying white man?
Yeah, the white man.
So you said you're Muslim. He's Muslim. So did Muhammad call black people raising him? You don't know your hadith. You don't know your hadith. You don't know your Quran. You don't know your hadith.
You're trying to twist it. That's why I'm saying no.
You actually don't. Do you know?
I'm saying no to the way you twisted it.
No. But what I'm trying to say to you.
The way you twisted
what
it.
I'm trying to say to you is that he's a racist man, Muhammad. You know, did he trade black people?
Okay, can I say something?
Did he trade black people?
You know what he said about...
did he trade black people for slavery?
Supremacy. He said it's not... He literally addressed supremacy of race. He said there's no supremacy of race. It's all impiety.
What?
Impiety. Yeah.
So why did he trade black people as slaves?
Because back then the Arabs, this is their practice. When the Quran came, What is the right way? This is the ayah that came down later. Remember, he was an Arab person, right? He was part of the Arab community. Originally, he was not even like the Arabs were not even monotheists. They weren't. They worshipped many gods, isn't it? You're aware of that? The Arabs,
Pre-Islamic.
Arabs
Yeah, I
were
understand.
Not,
I know.
Not monotheists. So they had very bad character. They had very bad like characters. And God even said, you know, we've blessed you with Islam and like made you good conduct and monotheists. So originally the Arabs weren't good. If they had black slaves, just like the Christians had black slaves as well, did they not?
No.
The Christians did. You know what verse they used?
You don't know what slaves. Okay. So Joe. They
use that verse.
You're talking about bond
extrapolated it,
servants.
and
If you're
took
talking about
black
the slaves in the Old Testament,
which I don't support. And the Quran supports.
what he forgets is that God divided the Red Sea to get the Jewish people out of the kind of slavery. Excuse me 1 second. He divided the Red Sea to free slaves. Muhammad, there's a hadith where a man would free the slaves when he died. There was a particular man that was going to free his slaves before he died. Muhammad blocked it. He blocked it, and he distributed the slaves to somebody else. So Muhammad wasn't this freedom liberator at all, at all. He was somebody that blatantly traded slaves.
I'm going to let you finish, but finish faster.
He believed in slavery. When we see slavery in the Bible, this wasn't that kind of slavery. This the Egyptian type slavery. That is Islam, the Egyptian type slavery. They have the Arab slave trade, which is still going on today. The slavery in the Bible is bond service. This is people who they were like butlers, you know, like hired help.
Oh, and what you said the
So,
the
hired help.
today is bond service as well in Dubai.
What are you
it's
talking
bond
about?
service. They're saying it's made. Because you're saying it's going on today.
I'm talking about Dubai.
There's
I'm
no
trying.
states other than made service.
Guy, he's a lie.
So you said
what I'm trying to say to
you
you,
said ignorantly,
can I just finish
you're
what I'm
not
saying?
aware of,
I'm not talking about
not aware
Dubai.
of-
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
you
the
know what
Bible. I'm
tafkira
saying
is?
that
What is a
the
tafkira in
bond
Arabic?
service in the Bible
You know what happens?
is
Alright,
hired
it's
help,
my turn to speak.
butlers,
It's my speak.
butlers,
Alright, it's my turn to speak.
butlers,
Alright.
who either wanted to be hired or committed their life to that family.
same
And
is
God
happening
brought
today with-
protections in place.
Yeah, and same is
In the
happening
Quran,
now
there
in
is
the
no
Muslim-
protection in place for slaves. Okay?
Maid service.
In
So
Islam,
there's a law for it.
there is no stopping of slavery.
There is no slavery.
None.
Right now.
No, there is.
Okay. First of all,
Libya, there's
alright,
slavery.
Listen. All right, listen.
Right? Be honest. Come on.
Listen
Be
to me.
honest. Don't
They
be a
had-
liar.
First of all, slaves were
Don't
property.
deceive people.
Were property.
Don't deceive people.
Listen, when Islam came, slaves were property. So you would not freely give your property. Okay, they were your property. So you bought them with money. Okay, so they were your property. What does Islam say? Islam say when someone breaks their fast during Ramadan? He says you can pay a takfira. You can either free a slave or you can do this, you can do that. So it was kind of like a charity. A charity is to free a slave. And what does it say in the Quran? What is the right way? It's freeing a slave. Right? But yet they were their property at the time, yeah. They owned them, they traded them, they were like money.
Yeah, that's
they were.
Islam.
But it is a charity.
After Jesus.
It was charity. no, there's Christians. They had black slaves.
After
Christians,
Jesus.
Jews had black slaves.
What slaves?
Everyone had
What
slaves.
slaves?
Everyone
What
had
does
slaves.
your
Medieval
Quran
times,
say?
old religion.
Your Quran, your hadith
religion's 2,000 years old.
support slavery. The Bible does not support
It does
slavery.
not. It's anti-slavery.
Okay, so
It's
Jesus, did he
anti-slavery.
trade slaves like Muhammad?
Anti-slavery.
Did
Well, it's not-
Jesus trade slaves like Muhammad?
First of all, Jesus came on his own. He came as like a completely different thing.
What?
He came on his own.
He came on his own. What
Yeah,
do
he
you
came
mean?
to the Jewish people. Muhammad
He came on his own.
Yeah, Muhammad came to the Arabic people and to the whole world, right?
You're struggling.
and
Listen,
yeah.
listen, you're
Yeah,
struggling.
he done.
You're struggling.
He done.
Joe the Muslim, whatever your name is, Joe, you're struggling.
He done. He done now.
Do you know why you're struggling?
I can leave. It's fine.
No. Of course
You
you're
can
going.
find someone
Of,
that's not
no,
strong.
of course you're going to leave.
Find difference between
Of course you're going to leave because you're finding it difficult to reconcile what your prophet did, which you follow, who you follow, and reality. It's wrong. Everybody knows it's wrong. There's no verse in the
I
Quran.
hope you come to Islam because
There
you
is
become
no
more
verse in the
African than you are right
Quran
now.
where it says
become
stop
way more
slavery.
African.
Why would a black person be a Muslim?
Because
There
we're
is
right
no
next to you,
verse in the
neighbours.
Quran or the
We're neighbours,
Hadith
Middle East and Africa.
that says stop slavery.
Middle East and Africa.
Give me
we're
one
neighbours.
verse. Give me one verse.
We're neighbours.
Give me one
There's
verse.
lots of black Muslims.
One verse in the
We're
Quran
more African. We don't bow
where
down
it
to
says
any white
stop
man.
slavery.
We don't bow down to any white man. Look
One
how they're
verse.
treating you in America.
One verse.
Look how they're treating you in America.
One verse. Arab slave trade
Don't
is
be
responsible
gentle, don't be
for
gentle to
sex
white people.
trafficking. Arab slave trade, which is Islam is behind this, is responsible for all the children, the little babies, the girls, the women being trafficked into prostitution. It's because of him.
No, it's not because of
Yeah, you don't. You're okay with it. People like him.
Islam came. at a
People
time
like
that
him.
Those things were happening.
People like
It
him.
came at a time that those things
And
were
he's not
happening.
even saying.
It's not limited
Did
to
he once
Muslims.
say it was bad? Did he once say it was bad?
There are no black Arabs.
There are black.
Where?
There's like Somalis.
No,
Somalis,
They're right
No,
next
I'm
to
talking about
Somalis
I'm
are
not talking
black
about
Arabs.
black Arab, Arabia. You know Arabia?
Have you seen their location? Have you seen?
You're-
Where is Somalia? Where is
You're
Yemen?
struggling.
Where is it? Somalia? The only thing
You're
separates
struggling.
is a river.
You're having a hard time. You're having
You
a
know
hard time.
what?
I know they're not.
You know why?
Oh, because they came
If you come from
You're
Nigeria,
struggling.
You know why the black slaves?
We're very close,
We're,
they get very close.
You're having a terrible time.
black slaves were castrated with black men so that they do not have children for in Arab. They kept the women. No, they kept the women, but they castrate the men. When we talk, Arab slavery was the most brutal slavery.
Exactly.
So I'm surprised that the
Castrating.
Because treating the war slave, even now, you see how Hamas and stuff like that have treated the slaves, and how the other opposition
Joe,
treats them.
Joe the Muslim. Listen, is it wrong? Slavery wrong? Is slavery wrong?
Slavery is the this is what Quran says. What is the right way? Freeing the slave. So what is the opposite of the right way? It's the worst way. Yeah. Obviously.
So,
It's the worst way.
show me one verse in the Quran or Hadith which says
Loads of
stop slavery.
It doesn't say stop slavery. It tells you what is the right way. It tells you what is the right way. You know what the
Isn't
Quran
that
says, bro?
interesting?
You know what? Listen. Islam is not a dictatorship. Islam says whoever wishes to believe. Who wishes to disbelieve. You have to use your mind, not like Christians. It doesn't tell you, oh, you should do this.
600
It
years.
doesn't tell you that.
600
Do
years.
it if you're convinced.
600 years
I'll show you the right way.
after Jesus
I'll show you the right
to
way.
Muhammad,
You can do that. This
and
is
they
the
learn
right way.
nothing.
I'll tell
They
you the
learn
right
nothing.
way. It tells you what the right
You
way
learn
is. Freeing the
nothing.
slaves. It tells you. It doesn't say stop slavery.
Why not?
It's not a policy.
Why doesn't it say stop slavery? If it's wrong,
It's a religion of
if
faith.
it's wrong,
You do it if you believe. You do it out
If it's
because
wrong.
God wants to test you. He wants to see who the good person is. He wants to see who the good person is.
show me where that's where it says it.
What-
This guy's talking.
what-
This guy's talking. I tried to show him some verses about contradictions in the Quran. This guy's talking. Finally, he's
You're not
about to
allowed-
quote.
I'm allowed to talk if you're not going to be fair.
Okay, let's see the verse. Don't drown now, because you're in the intellectual hospital right now. Don't kill yourself intellectually.
So there. Obviously, there's actually loads of verses. But let's go to there. The 99.
So what is this saying?
All right. And what will explain to you what this is in a different translation. Ascent is the freeing of a slave, or the feeding on a day of hunger, or an orphan near of kin, or a destitute in the dust. Then he becomes one of those who believe and advise one another to patience and advise one another to kindness. These are the people of happiness. But as for those who defy our revelations, these are the people of misery. Upon them is a padlock fire. So it's saying what will explain to you what the right way is. The freeing of a slave, the feeding on a day of hunger, the orphan near of kin, the destitute in dust. Then yeah,
Okay.
so it's teaching good things.
Feeding the hungry. Okay, we'll connect that to the slavery.
Freeing a slave.
Okay, so you're kind of
We don't have slavery, bro.
you're trying to you're trying to give the impression that Islam is caring.
I'm not trying to give the impression. This is what the
Okay,
Quran
okay.
says.
Name me one charity. Name me one Muslim charity that takes care, like is known to take care of children, of people, of
Why would I
adults.
suddenly know all the charities? Am
I just asked
are
you for
asking
one.
Google, bro?
I just asked you for
Asking
one.
Google.
I just asked you for one.
would I
One
know?
charity,
I'm
one
knowledgeable about
Muslim.
the charities, bro.
Listen. One Muslim charity
Bro,
that
you
can.
want to ask ChatGPT? I'll ask
Well, I'm asking him one Muslim charity.
wanna ask Google?
Can I just finish what I'm saying?
Why don't you research it?
I just want one.
I can research
One.
it.
Yeah, you can research it. One Muslim charity that takes care of people outside of Islam.
Sharia law? What does Sharia law say? If you're a Christian, you have your own law. You're under their protection.
I said charity.
Yeah, Sharia, not the charity.
Oh my days, man! You're having a tough time. You are.
First
You
of all,
are
you're
struggling
asking-
badly, bro.
I'm not going to be able to.
Okay, so what I'm
I
saying.
don't want to become Google. for
I
you.
know it's tough. So what I'm saying is that whilst you're reading something to give the impression that Islam is this peaceful religion that cares for
I
people,
don't, it doesn't say peaceful. Where does it say peaceful?
that helps the poor, that feeds the hungry.
I want to address something. Christians made that up, they said the religion of peace because they misunderstood the word salam. Islam and salam.
What?
Listen,
What are you
Islam-
talking about?
Salam means peace.
Okay.
Right? Islam means submission.
Show us one.
Right.
Show
So
us.
it's not the
Show
religion of
us
peace,
one
it's the
Muslim
religion of
charity.
submission to Allah.
Show us one Muslim charity that
Not
helps.
the religion.
That
it's
helps.
the religion of fear of God.
One
right?
Muslim charity that helps people
I am not
outside
Google to find
of
Muslim
the
charities. I don't know.
Ummah, the
I
Muslim
don't know.
community.
I don't know about any charities. Why?
There's nothing, is there? There's nothing.
You can gaslight it now because you're talking to someone that's not Google.
How can? So what is it about Islam
You wanna
that's
play on some
peaceful?
ignorance, yeah.
Okay,
That's what
The
you
only people among themselves.
they only give charity to themselves.
But other people, you are
That's it.
Sharia law then?
they are kafir.
He's talking about
Sharia law?
Sharia law as a charity. Sharia law is a
Wait, what is
charity.
No.
Oh my
Okay,
days.
let's talk about what's inscribed in Islam. Let's talk about Islam. Does it say when it says the poor, orphan, and
Wait,
needy?
wait,
Does it say Muslim poor,
I'm still
orphan, and needy?
digesting what you said.
Okay, we boil that down.
Excuse
Does it say
me.
Muslim?
You just said Sharia law is a charity.
No, I'm talking about how
I mean,
it protects,
there's nothing
it
left.
protects
I mean,
the non-Muslims.
Joe the Muslim.
Here,
Yeah,
what
Joe-
does it say?
Joe-
On the feed of the day of hunger, does it say Muslim?
Joe.
Does it say Muslim?
Joe.
And orphan near of kin, where does that say Muslim orphan of kin?
Joe.
Or destitute in the just, where does that say? And there's examples
You're-
of charities to non-Muslims.
Joe, you're struggling.
Yeah. Okay. I can leave now.
You're struggling.
Am I allowed to leave?
You're having a difficult time. Yeah. See,
I don't want to.
see, you're running away. Yeah, I've got another verse to show you, but you know,
What do you want to
there's
conclude on?
nothing left.
Conclude for your camera.
There's nothing
And I'll
left.
leave.
Okay, no
Conclude.
problem. Okay, so listen, look at this verse in Surah 4, verse 24. Look what it says.
Is this the conclusion, definitely?
Oh, it's the conclusion because
All right, because
what we're finding in the Quran
get Christian fatigue.
is that it's a very oppressive religion.
Isn't.
But you're trying to give it makeup. Don't give it makeup.
What does the Christian doctrine say?
Come
Anyone
natural.
who's not
Be
Christian
natural.
is going to hell. You're a cult.
Be natural.
You're a cult, bro.
Okay, go on.
You're oppressive. You have to force people to Christianity.
It's loading right now. What
You
people?
do. If you're not Christian, you're going to hell, bro.
In judgment. God will judge.
In Islam, that's not. In Islam, you don't have to necessarily be Muslim.
You don't say
have to
say God.
necessarily-
Okay.
you don't have to be-
So in Surah
you can be
4,
Christian.
verse
In Islam, you can
in
be
Surah
Christian,
4,
you can be Jewish.
the reason why I have my phone
If you're a good
is to
Christian,
show you
you'll
the
enter heaven
evidence.
in Islam.
Okay, so this is why I have my phone. I know it
Some
off head
Sahaba have
anyway.
to-
I know the verse off head. Look what it says. I'm going to show you anyway.
Are you sure you haven't twisted it and used the program?
No.
Alright, let's see.
This is the Arabic,
Alright,
okay?
so I'm Arabic.
Okay, Arabic. You can read it?
Yeah, I can. What do you want to say?
No,
the
no,
points
read
so
it.
I
Read it.
know
No,
what-
you can see the Arabic.
Right. You want me to read it?
Oh, read it.
والمحسنات من النساء إلا ما ملكت أيمانكم. Yeah.
So what does
Yeah,
that say? Say the English.
Yeah. You read English.
No, tell us what it means.
I don't
Tell
read
us.
English. You
Tell
read
us what
English.
it means. Go
Yeah.
on. Tell us what it means.
It's, I'll go into it. Just read
No,
English.
no.
Read English.
Are you an Arabic speaker or you're not?
Yeah, I am. Arabic.
Okay, so tell us what it means.
No, I don't want to tell you until I think. I
Oh.
want to know what you think it means, and then I'll answer.
Isn't that interesting?
Bro, no.
Okay, so
I want to
listen,
know what you think it
relax,
means.
relax, relax.
What do you think it means?
Take a deep breath. It's
What do you
okay.
think that means?
Don't worry.
Alright.
You're struggling
I want to
already.
know your agenda.
You're drowning
This is the Quran.
intellectually.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're seeing, okay, is married, okay, and prohibited are the ones are married of you possess, whom except the women rightfully decree of Allah. Let me read Sahih. Yeah. And also prohibited to you are all married women except those your right hand possess.
Yeah.
So you know what right hand possession means?
Yeah.
Concubines. Okay, so everything is permitted, no?
It's not permitted. This is, you're looking at it, there's a difference between...
This guy.
There's a difference between what Islam says and the...
Excuse me.
this is law.
Excuse me.
This is the two.
Excuse me. So,
All right, this is a law.
okay. So I can go to Ibn
This is a
Kathir.
marriage law.
Relax. Relax. Calm down.
It's not forbidden to have a slave,
Joe the Muslim.
but it's not the right way.
Joe the Muslim who's already intellectually drowning. So listen. It says in your Quran, very simple, very simple, very simple. Okay? It says the right hand possession basically were the women that were captured in war who had husbands that were still alive. Husbands that were still alive. And Allah, your God, not my God, I don't want this God. Your God said, yes, gave the wahi to Muhammad.
This is a law.
Not my God, your God, not my God. Your God said,
You're
excuse me, relax. So excuse me, relax.
This is
Allah said a new wahi, and He said, yes. Even though they had, no, Ibn Kathir, I could read it. Even though, no, I'm not. Anyone can read it. I got nothing to lie about. Islam destroys itself. Allah said, yes, have sex with those female captives, even though their husbands are still alive. You can have sex with them. No problem. Everything is lawful for you. That's the God of your God. That's the God of Islam.
What does it say about freedom?
Is that true? Is that true? Do you want me to read it? Do you want me to read? Do you want me to read
That was
it?
the laws at the time.
So the right hand possession, are you saying to me that there was no conscience of the women that caught these slaves, these women? Are you saying to me they did not inquire to Muhammad, who Muhammad then gave them after receiving wahi from Allah, saying yes, it's lawful for you to have sex with them even though their husbands are alive? Are you saying that that's not true? Are you saying that's not true? You're being recorded.
I'm not sure about the husbands being alive part. I want to research that.
Okay, research it. Research it. Go on, research it.
You need to separate law
Okay, my friend. Research it. Research
from
it
what
so
is
you...
right and wrong. Okay?
Because
This
at
is
the
law at
moment you're
time.
talking out of... Oh, I see. You're talking and you don't know the facts. So the question is, it's very simple. Establish the facts and then advise. Go on. Have a look at what I just said. I just made a claim that these guys are being told in this verse.
You're not being told this is the law.
Okay, exactly. This is yeah, exactly. That's my point.
So at the time
That
this was-
in your religion, it's so good that you're being recorded. It's so good that you're being recorded because look, what we're seeing
Well,
here.
it doesn't say this is the right way.
Excuse me,
This is just
excuse
the
me.
law at
What
the
we're
time.
seeing in Surah 4, verse 24, is that you're being allowed to have sex with women that are
It was your
captives.
property. Yeah.
Okay, well, property or not, you're allowed to do this even though they have husbands who are still alive. Is that true? Yes or no? Okay, so you're saying he's not sure. Now he's got selective memory. He has selective memory. I told him to go and look into it, and he's looking around the place. The truth of the matter is very, very clear. In Islam, the God of Islam permits
does it say that?
permits
Where does it
slavery.
say
Go
that?
to the tasfir.
I don't think you find it this time.
No.
No, listen, the burden of proof is on you.
This guy. I don't need no burden of proof.
If it's hard to find, if it's something that's very hard to find,
Okay, there you go. Okay, do you want me to read it? Do you want me to read it? Which is going to be even more, it's going to be worse. It's going to be worse. I can read it for you. It's going to be worse for you. Okay, so this is Ibn Kathir. It says, and this is his tasfir. Okay?
oh, tafsir, okay.
Tasfir. So
This
there's,
is not Quran,
there, and also,
you know,
there's,
tafsir can be wrong.
listen, there's other verses that substantiate this. There's other verses. Okay, I can go to Surah 33. But listen, look. It says, all others are lawful, meaning you are allowed to marry women other than the prohibited types mentioned here as ata, and others have stated Allah's statement. Provided you seek them with a dowry from your property, design chastity, not fornication, meaning you are allowed to use your money to marry up to 4 wives and to purchase as many female slaves as you like on all legal matters. Now, so let me just read. Okay, so I skipped a bit. Let me go back. Forbidding women already married except for female slaves.
So where's the part about husbands?
All right, no problem.
It's giving me a headache.
Also forbidden are women already married, except those whom your right hands possess. The ayah means you are prohibited from marrying women who are already married, except those whom your right hands possess.
Yeah. So it's just saying, if they're your property, it doesn't matter if they're married or not, because they're your property.
This is my point.
Okay, great.
So your God
So it doesn't
permits
matter.
adultery.
No, he permits you to
Okay.
women as property.
Okay. Look what it says. Consequently, we had.
Listen to me.
Look.
Before I leave,
Okay, I know you're going to leave. Of course you're going to leave. Of course you're going to leave. You're supposed to leave. Except so it says.
That was normalized back then, okay? It's not
Except
normalised
those
here.
whom you acquire for war.
It's very
For you
alien
allowed
now.
such
Yeah,
women after making sure they are not pregnant. Imam Ahmad recorded that Abu Said al-Qudri said, we
It's very
captured
alien now, I
some
understand.
women
But if we look at
from
the
the
teaching
area
where it
of
teaches about
Altars
slaves,
who were already married,
it's the right
and we disliked
Well done.
having sexual relations with them because they already had husbands. So we asked the Prophet about this matter, and his ayah was revealed. So isn't it interesting, the ayah came when they inquired about this question. And it says,
interesting, yeah, it's
also for beginning, women already married, except those whom your right hands possess. Consequently, we had sexual relations with these women. This is the wording collected by At-Tirmidhi and Nasai ibn Jarir and Muslim in this Sahih.
Conclude it now, please.
So,
I want to go.
listen.
No, not listen.
So-
If you can say
so-
listen, I'm going to leave.
No,
'Cause that's long.
I'm concluding.
You're making
So,
it long.
so your God permits adultery, permits rape, permits slavery. Why shouldn't the Quran be thrown in a bin?
Because
This is trash. This is trash to morality.
Last words. What's your last word?
The moral framework of Islam
Say the last word.
is trash.
Bro, do you not know how to conclude?
I'm done.
You don't.
You have nothing left. He has nothing left. Thank you. He has nothing left. He has nothing left. And you see, this is the reason why, people are leaving Islam in their millions. Jesus is appearing to people in dreams all over the world, and they are leaving Islam so fast. And so I encourage everybody to leave Islam. The morality is trash. The lies are so serious. The contradictions are unbelievable. It's an absolute disgrace for your book to say that you can you can have sex with somebody, you can do what you want when their husbands are still alive. This is why Islam is behind the Arab slave trade and permits slavery all over the world. An absolute disgrace. An absolute disgrace. And so guys, one thing for sure is that I spoke to this man quite firmly because he was behaving naively. He knows the truth, but he's trying to deceive the people. So I had to talk to him to get and shake out. It's like shaking a tree so the apples can fall down. I was hoping for some truth to fall down. So guys, look, Jesus says, love thy neighbor as you love yourself. And this is a very important principle that we see in our faith. And this is why the God of the Bible is a God of love. So guys, we're on the winning side. Continue to read your Bible, fast, and stand on the promises of God. God bless you, and we'll speak real soon.